All right, I want you to think about regulation of the cryptocurrency sector for just a moment. And so as we get started with this video, keep regulation in mind. And by the end of the video, we're really going to be talking all about regulation and countries banning cryptocurrency. But by the end of the video, I want to pose two questions that I would like to get a little bit of comment banter going on this video. That this past week, a number of countries made really big news with government rulings in regards to cryptocurrency. There's obviously an apparent struggle going on right now between decentralized cryptocurrency sector and governments around the world that are trying to maintain the relevancy of their central banks and their currency. This is Jeff with the Hodl Report. Join me on today's journey into the world of cryptocurrency as we explore government regulation in cryptocurrency. In developing countries, there's a very high margin of people who fall into a category or a bracket that we can call and term unbanked. That means they don't use the banks, they don't participate in the normal traditional economy. They're slightly outside of the normal traditional economy and typically living day to day on fiat currency only. So there is no need for them to engage with a bank, and the money they earn isn't enough to put in a bank. They don't have enough to save. They're not receiving loans, and if they're unbanked, it's very difficult for them to engage in other sectors of the economy, credit cards, etc. So when we look at a decentralized cryptocurrency, this is actually a way to take those who are unbanked and provide them a real opportunity to truly take part in a global economy. So when they are trading and exchanging within the crypto space, they may or may not necessarily need the bank. And this allows them to participate at a much broader level than if they were just exchanging standard fiat currency. Now, this past week, there were some really big headlines coming out of 5 particular countries that I wanted to cover on today's video and contrast. One of them is contrasted to the extreme negative at this moment, and the others are moving in an extreme positive. So those countries are India, Japan, Malta, Thailand, and South Korea. Today's announcement of South Korea is pretty amazing. We'll review that in a moment. So let's go through. I'm going to read through a few snippets from articles on each of these events that are going on right now. Before I get started, let me read a brief disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor, programmer, banker, or technical guru, and as such, I'm not your financial advisor. But if I am going to offer you any advice, then let it be this. When investing in the cryptocurrency space, do your own research and only invest what you are prepared to lose. And when you do decide to invest, only invest in those currencies that you found that you have a passion for. Don't let anybody coerce you into buying a cryptocurrency simply from fear of missing out on something that may or may not occur. So with that, let's get started. All right, so we're going to start with India. India this past week went through a little bit of turmoil when it's in the cryptocurrency space, and it's a little bit of turmoil to the extreme. Back in April, there was some news announced regarding cryptocurrency. There have been some hearings. A few days ago, India's Supreme Court refused to lift the cryptocurrency banking ban. The reason why this is huge news, we'll see, because there was an immediate reaction to it from one of their larger exchanges. But in the ruling today, which was actually a couple days ago, India's highest court of law refused to grant any temporary respite against the central bank's ban on banking services to cryptocurrency exchanges. This is definitely big news, and this is going to cause a lack of movement from cryptocurrency into fiat and vice versa. On April 5th, the Reserve Bank of India, the RBI, the country's central bank, issued a circular to all regulated financial institutions, including banks, to prohibit them from providing services to businesses in the cryptocurrency sector. They're putting a halt. The government's trying to mandate their control. The central bank's attempting to mandate their control out of fear of cryptocurrency being opened to the unbanked and to the general population. So the ban actually effectively began yesterday, July 5th. Now, within all of the negative, there could be some positive. July 20th is the next date for a Supreme Court hearing. I believe that, as we've seen with other countries that have attempted to stop or over-regulate to the point of shutting down, where the government interferes and steps in and says, no, we're shutting everything down. We saw that attempt in China. We saw that attempt in Japan. We've seen that attempt in South Korea. And then we see swift reversals on those decisions. So I believe that we'll see the same thing in India. But let's explore something that happens. So now, as an immediate response, so ZebPay is one of the larger exchanges, or the largest exchange in India, and they immediately shut down fiat withdrawals amid the India crypto banking ban. So if you had money, that's it. They're shutting down the fiat withdrawals. They're giving you a little bit of leeway to pull the money out, but by forbidding the withdrawals, that's it. Your money's stuck in the crypto space, which isn't necessarily negative. If you have money in crypto, obviously if you need it and you need to pull it back out into rupees, you won't be able to do that. But if you're able to move, you have Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ripple or one of the many cryptocurrencies out there, you can move it from exchange to exchange. They can't stop that part of it. And I believe that's the same thing that other governments noticed and realized, is that once you have your money in that space, they aren't able to control what you do with that money. So if you have millions of dollars worth of a cryptocurrency that you've accumulated and hodled over time, and now you move it and transition it to another exchange, and maybe that means you're going to spend most of your time outside of the country and establish banking where it is permitted, in Malta, for instance, which we'll discuss shortly. So ZebPay closes fiat, deposits and withdrawals suspended. ZebPay users will not be able to withdraw rupees until the cryptocurrency exchange finds a banking service that allows the withdrawal. So right now it's not allowed. There's a lot of ingenuity amongst the people in India. I believe that they'll find a way around and circumvent this current government ban until things turn around for the positive with the government. Now the RBI, the Reserve Bank of India, tomorrow, which was yesterday, so there's an article from the 4th, but tomorrow the Reserve Bank of India, RBI, will prohibit all financial institutions from providing services to companies within the cryptocurrency sector. There have been several legal attempts to revoke this ban, but the Supreme Court has denied all of them. They're not thinking all the way through this. So let's move on. Now, to contrast, Japan, the Japanese Financial Services Agency, or the FSA, is going to change crypto exchange regulations. Now, what exactly does this mean? Japanese financial regulator, the Financial Services Agency, or the FSA, is considering to change the legal basis for how it regulates cryptocurrency exchanges. The FSA reportedly is considering to regulate crypto exchanges by the Financial Instruments and Exchange Act, the FIEA. This means that the exchanges will have stronger customer protection. So here's a country that identifies and understands the legitimacy and the importance of the cryptocurrency space, and is finding ways to protect the customers, that are buying and investing in the cryptocurrency space, to protect the customers that are hodling or they're holding their cryptocurrency for purchase. But this is definitely a big move. Now, should the FSA start regulating exchanges under the FEIA, or the FIEA. This is a mistake in their writing. Crypto will be treated as a financial product, moving closer to mainstream. So this is very big news coming out of Japan. Now, as we move from Japan, let's go into Malta. This is amazing. Malta is really positioning themselves to be the Dubai of the cryptocurrency world. We see what happened with Dubai. They took their petrodollars and turned themselves into the business mecca of the world. Malta is doing the same thing, attracting businesses that are invested and focused on cryptocurrency from around the world where they're having struggle. The Malta Prime Minister confirms Parliament will pass 3 cryptocurrency bills. Malta is making quick progress in establishing itself as the world's friendliest jurisdiction for cryptocurrency firms. Malta's Prime Minister Joseph Muscat confirmed the Parliament will favor and approve 3 cryptocurrency bills designed to embrace the blockchain sector. So this is definitely very, very significant. And if you compare it to what's going on in India, Japan, Malta, moving in the right direction to embrace and expand in this crypto space, India going in the opposite direction. So now let's move to Thailand. Thailand publishes new cryptocurrency regulations, really as it pertains to ICOs, but this is important. This definitely is an important move for them. I won't get into all the finer details of the regulation, but it's important just to note that they're making regulation to identify and allow cryptocurrencies into their financial sector. So the Thai Security and Exchange Commission, which regulates the financial markets in the country, has finally announced its regulatory framework for initial coin offerings, the ICOs. This means that cryptocurrency investors in Thailand will have some clarity over what is allowed and how they can trade with such serenity. The laws will come into effect on July 16th, so we have a very short period of time to see these laws come into effect. And again, Thailand moving towards embracing, India moving the other way. Under these guidelines, ICO issuers are required to have a company that is registered in Thailand and that is approved by the SEC, so that's one of their primary bullets on the regulation. ICO issuers are only allowed to receive payments in 7 cryptocurrencies. So this was interesting too. But so as we see, ICO issuers, they're going to issue their currency. They can receive payment in Bitcoin, Ether, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Classic, Stellar, and Litecoin. So to me, this is definitely big news when it comes to the top 7, or the 7 that they selected. And so again, Thailand moving in the right direction, embracing, making some new regulation as it pertains to ICOs, and inevitably helping their people invest further into cryptocurrency. So now let's get into South Korea. This is really huge news that came out this morning. South Korea is officially recognizing crypto exchanges as regulated banks. Crypto exchanges are banks. I think that's pretty big news. Here's some snippets from that. For the first time in history, the government of South Korea has officially recognized crypto exchanges, regulated financial institution, and banks. Local publications in South Korea have reported that the financial authorities of South Korea have finalized their plans to categorize crypto exchanges as an industry called cryptocurrency exchange and brokerage to enable trading platforms to perform at a large capacity with support from local authorities. Local government, local authorities embracing the crypto space, making it more mainstream. This week, local publications revealed that the government of South Korea has come to a consensus to recognize crypto exchanges as regulated financial businesses, creating a new industry dedicated to cryptocurrency trading platform. So here we have 4 countries moving considerably towards a positive, towards making cryptocurrency mainstream and embracing the amazing technology that's unfolding. It's a renaissance of technology in this space and a financial renaissance for investment purposes. And so then we have India, on the other hand, banning all cryptocurrency, making it virtually impossible to move fiat rupee currency to cryptocurrency. I really find it very interesting that in the past 5 days, and we've seen 5 countries that have made significant headline in the news when it comes to the cryptocurrency space. India is obviously standing isolated with a complete ban on this burgeoning sector, as I've been mentioning. The big question here is, why is India making such a huge mistake? What are they threatened by? What are they afraid of? So there's a huge population in India who are the unbanked. They essentially live outside of the national economy of India, and for sure they're way outside of the global economy. Now, I mentioned in the beginning of the video that cryptocurrency is a way for the unbanked to actually take part in the economy at large. These individuals and others around the world like them can, for the first time, potentially find ways to make money outside of the banking economy and actually save. They can earn. They can pay in this digital currency. They aren't stuck. They're not stuck with their fiat currency that may have poor value like the rupee. Now, these individuals, as long as they have access to a smartphone, and there's smartphones all over India. If they don't have anything, they at least have a smartphone. You have an app on a smartphone, you've got your bank, you've got your currency. Now, the central bank in India must truly be threatened by this new technology, that it's giving the ability to these people, to the unbanked, to become self-reliant, to become part of the economy. Millions and millions and millions of people, it's counted in the hundreds of millions of people that can participate in the economy on a large scale. Why do they want to block these people from having these opportunities to invest what little money they have in a cryptocurrency that has the potential of increasing 100-fold, 1,000-fold? Now, as we look over the past months, and the history of the cryptocurrency space is measured at such a rapid pace, and we see such changes happening, and there are macro changes in a short period of time. It's pretty amazing. But as we look at it, India isn't really that unique. So here we have 4 countries going in a positive direction. Those 4 countries have had their own internal turmoil. So for me, I have a very positive outlook that India will turn the corner and start moving in the right direction. I think there's a lot of things that will be happening at play right now in government and politics. And we can definitely understand that most governments around the world are debating what to do with this new crypto financial technology. We know in the U.S. there's some struggles going on, and there's a struggle for control with the central banks everywhere around the world. Japan, China, South Korea, among many, many others, have gone through this process. So a country like Malta, and I like looking at Malta because they've made that big decision. I mentioned before Dubai. They made that big decision like Dubai did years before, where they realized that they can't rely on the petrodollar forever. They want to be part of the business world. They want to be part of the world economy. Malta wants to be part of the world economy. They made a huge move to attract billions upon billions of dollars, and it's paying off. It's definitely paying off. For the time being in India's Supreme Court and their central bank have definitely made a mistake by preventing India's population from taking part in the global financial renaissance. Again, I'm convinced that it could be short-lived. I think July 20th, as long as it happens, we could definitely see some moves. If we don't see some moves, I know that the talented people of India will find a workaround to make sure that they can still take part in this economy. Now, the government in India, as other governments before it, will quickly realize that they can either join this new digital economy or they have to get out of the way. One way or the other, the cryptocurrency space is going to still be there. One way or the other, the people in India will find a way to invest in it. India will be much better off to have a seat at the table with other countries around the world to work towards setting standards and basic regulation in the cryptocurrency space instead of banning it and moving off in a completely wacky direction. Now, regulation through governments in the world could be a good thing that will allow for there to be set standards. By establishing these standards in the cryptocurrency sector, we can see a more mainstream acceptance. With more mainstream acceptance, in turn, that will in turn bring about rapid adoption. And maybe this is what's going on within the inner workings of the India government right now. Maybe this is what the Supreme Court was all about, is, well, let's put in place some regulation to make sure that we're doing what Japan is doing, to do what South Korea is doing, to do what Thailand is doing, to set the stage for success instead of the Wild West. That's a possibility. I'm not sure exactly if that's what they're doing, but it's possible. I think that as the world governments come together to set these standards and making cryptocurrency more inclusive into the mainstream, then we have to protect those who are investing in it, and we can't leave it up to the Wild West mentality to allow people to take advantage of the mainstream retail investor. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, I have a few questions to pose, and they're exactly on this topic of regulation. So hopefully you've bared with my entire video here, and now we're at the end of the video. So 2 questions. Question number 1. Can the cryptocurrency space self-regulate, or does regulation need to be applied by the governments of the world in an effort to establish global standards and ways to protect the individual investor or crypto user? That's question number 1. Self-regulation, or do they need participation with the government? Now, number 2, if we are to rely on governments solely making their own decisions on regulation for cryptocurrency, are the governments of the world technologically sophisticated enough to pass supportive regulations and standards that will provide room for the crypto market to expand and grow as it needs to? I think those are 2 very valid questions. I think we need to consider regulation and anticipate what this really means for the overall growth. My opinion, I'll give you my opinion, I believe that there needs to be a form of this self-regulation coming from the cryptocurrency space, as well as interaction with the government to make the standards, to set the overall global protection criteria to make sure that everybody's operating based on the same standard operating procedure within the investment vehicle of cryptocurrency. So that's my 2 cents. I really appreciated you watching my video today. It was fun, engaging once again on cryptocurrency. If you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see future videos, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell to receive a notification every time we upload a new video. And as always, keep hodling those cryptocurrencies.